All right. So getting started, we're going to do a market overview of today as usual. Um, so in the morning, always send out the vol reversions until we populate it on the dashboard. Hopefully, once again, that will be soon. So start off by I said at 6:34 a.m. PST, I said potential for 53.80 today, thinking 50 balance lines up with S1, right? Um, to start off, this set of data, I'm sure everyone kind of noticed, it looked exactly like yesterday, right? Where D adjusted didn't show it, but raw did. Can you guys confirm that with me? Make sure you guys remembered seeing the same thing or thought about the same thing from yesterday's review. So luckily we once again, right, just paying close attention to the data, right? So Nvidia was ripping faces, so that's the other thing I pointed out in the morning, right? Nvidia off the open was ripping pretty hard, right? So if you look at this already, it looked really good for even more upside. However, 5 minute also had huge positive delta on SPY, right? So initially that's why I stabbed longs off the rip. For a quick scalp, we weren't at 50 yet, but on SPX, it was just a scalp play, wasn't anything crazy. So I caught this initial move up, wasn't anything crazy. It did get stopped out in profits down here. But continuing forward, if this holds tons of positive delta down to 50, you know what to do, right? Really may just do the damn thing again. Another 5 minute with just positive delta, and then another, 5 minute on the top right here, right? This candle, hold on, this doesn't line up. SPY, flip the SPY. Okay, here we go, right? Green candle. This one ended up, when did I send this? This had to have been like in between. That's why it's not showing up. 641. So in the opening of this candle. So it was a little bit red carrying that positive delta. Nvidia dumped hard, stayed defensive today. If you take 50 long as light size, rejection is pretty hard, right? So I forewarned everybody that was in the Discord that paid attention to the analysis channel. Just making sure, number one, we had such a strong move up. Like number one, likelihood of that continuation of said strong move usually doesn't happen, especially if you're at all-time highs, right? If you revisit every time we've hit all-time highs on SPX, it didn't look too strong afterwards, right? So on a daily perspective, hit all-time highs, right? We broke out and then it pulled back down, right? Same here. Hit all-time highs, pulled back down. Right here, hit all-time highs on this day, and the next day following pulled back down. Once again, hit all-time highs, yanked back down. So same thing here, hit all-time highs, slow day the following day. So these are just like kind of things you pick up on based upon experience and kind of back charting or backdating all the previous charting history. So with that being said, I wanted to see more, especially the fact that I saw that the data was very similar to yesterday. But you'll notice play smart and defensive today. Just remember, we also do have NFP tomorrow. So that was something I was pointing out. 15 minute also didn't build up crazy delta like the 5 minute did on that opening drive play I took, right? This is a 645 candle. So on that drop down on that 15 minute, it was very, very aggressive, right? There was no positive. Number one, I said it was aggressive. Number two, there carried no positive delta on that. So with that being said, it just NFP is non-farm payroll. It's a, what do you call it? A data release at 5:30 in the PST. So 1 hour before market opens. So once again, just forewarning everybody, right? It just didn't make sense. So the buildup isn't crazy. Today's action not looking completely favorable. Once again, this is set at 7:22 in the morning, guys. This is way early on. Best part about the data, it kind of tells you, it can kind of foreshadow what can happen to the day on the day. And then 7:33 later on, Delta mixed, although we have 80 above us, I'm not sure we get a similar action due to the mixed footprint data. Yesterday, as you guys saw, it was straight buyers. Today is different. You've seen it firsthand. On top of that, yesterday Nvidia ripped fucking faces. It's not doing so today. Just be wary, size light, be defensive. Which is typically bearish or could go either way. NFP can go either way. NFP can go absolutely any way. So 742, likely no more trades for me today. All light positions stopped at break even after hitting trims. Like I said, doesn't seem like a trend day due to the above not lining up, as well as the NFP tomorrow. Please, please, please just be smart and defensive. Trim, stop loss slightly above break even, size light if you take anything. 8 o'clock sent an update, just updating you guys data perspective. 80 raw on raw shrunk. So once again, it was solvent. So once showing that there were zero buyers, it shrunk number one. So it just didn't seem like another, once again, not a strong likelihood, low probability, right? 80 shrunk. Has some interest below us at 40 on de-adjusted. If 50 wall cracks, we could go down there, but also on raw, it is also raw Gex flip. Vana flip not much higher either stuck around 65. So that kind of showed us that number one, Vana flip doesn't show us going much higher. Remember yesterday, once again, relating something like this, especially when the data in the morning looks very similar, you cannot just blindly follow it, right? The main thing is you need things to line up, right? We talk about this all the time. Parameters need to line up in order for a day to have a similar, I guess a similar setup is the best way to say it, right? Vana flip kept inching up above us every single time we kept going higher, right? This is not the case. It was much higher at the open, around 75, 80, and then now it's all the way down to 65, right? So once again, if you're green, go take the rest of the day off. 50 holding for now. Be careful, as you can tell, every retest of 50 led to a lower high. Once again, showing that buyers just aren't there. They're not participating today. 15-minute negative delta around 53.50. So this is at 9 a.m. Look what we did. 9 a.m. Right here. Wait, why is this timing off? Sorry, 8:45. So right here, right around here. We were kind of teetering, tottering back between 50 and whatnot. So just negative delta built up at a support level. Well, once again, that is now a high likelihood that we drop, right? And then we got our drop, right? I sent the photo of this. Also, funny thing for anyone who does remember. There's so many fucking machine trades. Where is it? Oh, this part. If it's TMI, don't look, but still, it's funny as fuck, right? I said at 9:15, literally before this, right when this candle formed at 9:15. Where is it? I just think it's funny as fuck. You can't really. This is like shit you can't make up. Like I sent that, and then this candle fucking happened. Taking shit, prep for market dump, machine poop indicator going off. And then this happens. I said, let me go take a shit. This is between me, Vince, and Gio. I was just like, let me go take a shit. I just took one. Market usually dumps when I dump. So it's just funny that coincidence or not, kind of just understanding. Uh, anyways, continuing forward. No one thought it was funny other than in the moment. Maybe hard to break 40 at 9:42, right? So right around here when we got back below or got around that 40, we were at vol reversion S2. God, every time next time you get into puts. Look, we're not a signal company. I should eat lots of fiber tonight. But continuing forward, so I said maybe hard to break 40. It is Gex flip right now. Careful if you haven't trimmed, be smart and protect some profit, guys. Right. So when we got there, this is the trade that I got bagged. I was up like 2,200, some shit like that. And then that last play sized in with 800 bucks. I was expecting it to go to zero. They actually came back to break even. If anyone was paying attention to the rest of the market afterwards, I was pretty fucking bummed out. That's just shitty execution. Why is it shitty execution? I sent this, right? I'm 50-50. Kaz, you haven't been here long enough, brother. It's an ongoing joke. It's funny. But yeah, so I kind of, this was a really dumb trade. Why I got really upset after this one, right? I was kind of basing it off a 15-minute if we held above that zone. But once again, right, especially talking similar to yesterday and how I've been talking so heavily about footprint chart, it should not have been a trade I took, right? Because I send this in, we have that 15-minute candle to the downside right here. But on this initial green candle right here, it carried negative delta, right? I even said that. If we get 15-minute close below the zone, I'll manually stop out. Other than that, I'm going for a potential write up, but not very high probability given that the neg delta buildup was at this red candle. So that was not a smart trade, right? Number one, I always stress not buying relative tops, and me entering longs at that point is just stupid. So once you guys are seeing a mistake done at first hand, right? You know, that was a miss. Don't get me wrong. A complete miss, actually. And then once again, even at 11 o'clock, looking toppy here, but it held the zone, person going to hold. Like, come on, man. That's just a stupid thing to do. Like, I'll be completely honest. That was so stupid, right? You have just PA wise, if you look at this, I was even calling it for myself, right? You have a big wick to the upside. You have another fucking doji candle. And along with negative delta, right? It's just not a good. I took a low probability setup going against everything that I saw, pointing out the thing is just like when you point out the things that the mistakes that you made, especially like in the moment you're in that trade, right? I was in longs and it just wasn't a good trade. Number one, everything was pointed out to the downside. So why the fuck am I taking it? We're at VWAP. You know, we rejected it once. We're at VWAP. We're out of zone with fake delta to the upside. And it just once again wasn't a smart trade, right? So hopefully you learn, right? And I say this all the time, and I didn't follow my rule. When you see something that goes against the position that you're in, take off the risk. And I didn't do that today. Right. Although it was sized for what do you call it? It was sized for zero, given that if I closed it at a zero, English, fuck, blah, 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 blah. It was sized for zero. If that $800 went to zero, I'd still be green 1,200 bucks on the day. So it wasn't a huge deal, but once again, just that's literally like me lighting the cash on fire. It would have been more fun to watch fucking 6 Benjamins go up in flames than to watch this trade go against me. Right. So learn from my mistake. Learn from the rules that I tell you. I'm human. I make mistakes just as much as the next person, right? And this is firsthand seeing one of them. I got bagged on this play. Worst part is instead of just holding for zero like I planned, I was like, fuck this. I'm just gonna close it because I was so upset. And they came back. They were green. They went like barely, but they were 10% green. But still, once again, 3 mistakes made. Position was sized for zero. Why the fuck would I sell out if there's only 800 bucks and there's 100 like right around 200 bucks left on the table? Why not just hold it? Right? Still would have ended green on the day, wouldn't have made a big difference. And at that point, I would have made more money. I would have actually been green, or I would have, knowing myself, I would take some off at break even, like I usually do anytime a position comes back just to mitigate. Kaz, the data showed bearish right here. This drop right here, that's where he was red up because he held even down here. He was slightly green and he held all the way up to here. This is how that top was called. This relative top down. This drop was what made him that 15 grand, right? So that's just something to pay close attention to. I pointed all those out, but I still went long. So I went against myself. I went against my thoughts for whatever reason. Mentally, I guess it just wasn't locked in, honestly. That's pretty much what I look for, right? Number one, I always talk about it, right? You have vol reversion S1, you have this level at 5350. We've wicked PA wise, you have the wicks right here. You have a bearish candle right here. So like it's simple enough, right? You don't need to overcomplicate it. But just with this setup right here, you could have caught this. Contracts went from 0.7 to 6.0. Almost 1,000% on this one drop. So just something to think about and just take into account, right? It's an unlucky trade. Not even unlucky, just stupid, just flat out stupid. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to go over today. Because once again, we have NFP tomorrow, so not expecting much going into, especially like I'm waiting for data to release to take a trade. So if we want to look at potentials for tomorrow, I don't really like looking at these because it's kind of like useless. If you look at this, it's either 53.75, 53.25, 5,300. It looks like more interest to the downside because it's harder to push up. Looking at IB skew. I'm hoping this yanks us down, but I want it to be like post NFP. How do you get volume? It's not volume, it's volatility. Vol reversion levels, or what do you mean specifically? Or what do they mean specifically besides resistance and support trend? It's pretty much just that. Like that's how you treat it on a chart. That's literally as the reversion levels, right? So if you hit the top reversion, There's certain percentages marked with each one. Like if you hit vol reversion S1, there's like a 60% chance that it reverts back to the upside or something. Um, Vice versa for R1, right? And I forget, like, I think the middle one is some shit like 78%. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not entire, I don't remember the numbers exactly, but usually what you want to see is kind of like you tap one of these levels and then you go to the other one, right? You tap one of these levels, you trim at this one, and then you take it to the next one, right? Just very simple stuff like that, right? Let's say you tap S3, okay, you go long, you trim here, and then you target the next one, right? Just very simple stuff. Just trim levels, you treat them as regular support and resistance. It's it's meant to be so that you don't need to chart your shit anymore. That's like the best part about it. Yeah, super econ. The size was just meant to be small because 800 bucks could easily turn. I mean, imagine those contracts that I was in, and if we rocketed back up to higher day, this drop put these contracts from point 0.7 to 6.0, right? It's similar out the money. If I came back to here, it probably would have been 2.0 to like 8 or 9, right? So it was relatively good risk to reward in my opinion, but if we since it was size for zero, but yeah. So day three of TraderLink, I already feel like I have this all the secret data so much better than reading PA and instantly trying. It, dude, it once you look at it, it like I said, and I stress this all the time, once you start actually trading with the data, looking at it on a daily basis, and someone takes it away from you, you don't view the markets the same anymore. Dude, I'm glad that these are helping, right? I fucking that's why I was so upset when that one dude, Jay in chat, was just saying like, oh, I there's no help. I'm like, dude, you're joking, right? Like you can't be serious. Is there a trading view indicator for input auto map reversion levels you post? No, there is not. So the way I do it, if you guys want to just copy me, right, how I set it up is literally just like this, where it's like I leave the vol reversion up there, and when I post them, I literally just do this. Like when R1, go here, double click on it. I do this manually every morning until it's posted on the chart or on TraderLink. You're still gonna have to manually input it because we have no trading view integration. There's video about Apex dashboard. Yeah, they're all over YouTube. I mean, it depends what you're looking for specifically. Do you use the dashboard AOI? Personally, no. I have it up here for like, honestly, I don't even need it up here. If I'm being quite honest, I could probably get better use out of something else. Hopefully, so the plan, we're revamping the Apex AI. Once we get the reversion levels, it'll basically start populating that stuff. Dude, bad day is not an excuse to treat other people poorly. I I have bad days all the time, but from the fucking bottom of my heart, is try to stay compassionate every single moment of the day. How are version levels automated? Are they based on specific time of day? Also, if data drops at 5:30, kind of like tomorrow, can you peep the dashboard at 6:30 a.m.? Personally, I don't. No, you can't because it bases it off SPX spot price. I can't give away how it's automated just because that's proprietary. It's ran at every morning at 6:31 with the spot price. Bro, I just ordered 25 more Kansas Inns. I'm so excited. They're about to show up in my door in 2 days. So spot price on when data drops may be different at open, right? Because okay, no, it's keep in mind it takes SPX spot price. SPX does not move overnight, right? It does not move overnight. Random Q, I see you're in California time. How the fuck do you wake up so early? I've been in Europe for 7 months and market opens at 2 p.m. here. Don't know how. Dude, I've been waking up at for 6:30 market open since I was 18. I turned 24 in literally a week. In like less than in a little over a week. So I've been doing it for almost 6 years, bro. You get used to it. I rarely ever miss a fucking day. I don't remember the last time I chose to just lay in bed unless I was fucking sick. I just get up. Doing PST for 19 years, see? You get used to it. It becomes part of your daily schedule, right? My schedule is I wake up at 6:20, brush my teeth, get to my desk by like 6:25, and then I'm pretty much set to get started. If I can pop us in right at market open, send out the reversion levels. I think of how expensive the nap will be. Like you get used to it, right? And then expensive shit. Dude, yesterday, bro, I was so tilted. Most expensive shit of my life. The most expensive dump of my life. Fuck me, bro. We made 100 bands, like easily. Easily. But what else is there to think of? Yeah, dude, you just integrate it into your schedule, bro. There's women here? Probably not, man. I highly doubt it. And well, there's Brenda. I'm okay. Well, I assume you make an ass out of you and me. Brenda could be a woman. Brenda could also be a guy. Oddly enough, I do know a guy named Brenda. Anyone else find weekends boring since finding TL? Dude, it's fun to look at the data. Like I'm at my desk from 6:30 to 1 o'clock every single day. And then after that, I just fuck off, go about my day. Like that's really about it. Post a little bit on Twitter here and there, and then kind of just 5 o'clock run these classes. Weekends are for canyon runs, dude. Weekends are for sleeping in. That's when I sleep in. Saturdays, I wake up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, bro. 48th hour no DDoI. There is DDoI. You have to refresh your page. If you don't refresh your page in the morning, you just leave it open. It's not gonna refresh. You got to refresh your page as a heads up. Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to implement going to the gym more often. I'm a bit of a lazy human being. I fast every day. I eat literally one meal a day, depending how I feel. Most of the time it's just lunch. So it's not like I gain weight sitting on my fat ass all day. Dude, when I was like really fucking fat, I was 194 pounds. And keep in mind, guys, I'm like 5'9", 5'10", in between. I round up for fucking the hose that I don't have, unfortunately. That's beside the point. But yeah, 6'1" on Tinder. Nah, bro, I'm fucking 6'10" on Tinder. Just kidding. I don't even have Tinder. I have Hinge though. If you ever find me on there, you don't know me. Grinder kind of guy, maybe. If you find me on there, you don't know me. There are no hoes in here, so you can be on, bro. Zero hoes. I'm going to the bar tomorrow with Gio and get fucked up. Do you personally have a preference for holding tickers under a certain dollar amount? Do you prioritize how many big tickers market cap is? Personally, I don't like I own the only single ticker that I really trade outside of SPX outside of like trading SPY, SPX, QQQ is legit like is Nvidia. That's the only one I like trading. We're in Cali, guys. I'm in SD. I'm in SD home and it says for school. Oh, nice. I'm in LA. I live like in a city called San Marino. It's right like 2 minutes from Pasadena. Pasadena, San Gabriel. Pasadena's north, San Gabriel Valley. San Gabriel is south. Temple City Arcadia is east. Alhambra is west. Wait, is that right? And east? One or the other. But yeah, those are my surrounding cities. Oh, nice. I love Glendale. Bunch of Armenians out there though. Like that's all I see every time I go out there. I'm in Vegas. I I haven't been to Vegas in a while. I usually just do day trips. Oh shit. That's crazy. That's a long ass time ago. Met up at the Rippy Hassan meetup. That's crazy. Damn, you seen me at my at my start of I guess Furu, quote unquote. Tall guy with hair. Is that you, Steph? I feel like that's Steph. I didn't type. Is that geotyping? There are two trader links here. There are. Geo's here. How did the whole Rippy Jarvis, you Emilio come to be? Basically the story is like it's super funny. So Hassan was hosting his mastermind. This is the story of how it all began. Hassan was hosting his mastermind, right? And he had one of these guys on Twitter basically host a Gex class, but the Gex class wasn't very informative, to say the least. And a bunch of the people like Jay Crispin basically told Hassan like, "Yo, if you want to teach gamma exposure, you got to go to Sheen. Um, you got to go to Sheen and Geo, right?" So he reached out to us. He was like, "How much do you want for one class?" And flat out, I was like, honestly, like I wanted to fucking milk some money. I paid a lot to Rippy Global at the time, probably like 5 or 10K, 5 to 10K with my time spent there, as well as like the masterminds from the past. So I was like, so we charged 10, so I was like 10K for the class, right? And he basically said no. And in Big Bear when we were all together, he was like, 10K motherfucker, I can get anyone I want for 10K. Why are these two guys charging fucking 10K? So and that stuck with him. He's like, why are they charging more? I could get Umar, I could get Rake Trades, I could get Jadon all for 10K combined for 1 hour of their time. Why are these guys charging me 10K for 1 hour? Lo and behold, he brought it up to Mitchell, like, take a meeting with these guys. Like, what are they doing? And so one thing led to another. We met up, we took Mitchell out to dinner, and then we basically merged after that. Because Mitchell had been building that tape for the dashboard for basically for a platform that he wanted to start, as well as the unusual whales, right? So he had been working on that already, and we already had the dashboard set up, the exposure module set up. So it was a matter of creating a new website, integrating his modules with our modules onto the custom dashboard. The custom dashboard was Gio's idea, actually. He came up with this, the whole like literally being able to resize everything, put it on, fit it to how you want. One of the best ideas I think anyone has ever had within this fucking industry in terms of a platform. So full credit to Gio on that one. No, I haven't seen that. He's not a scammer. I know, like we know Hassan personally. This is fucking biggest load of garbage. Can you talk about what you pay attention to DDoI for bot calls or bot puts only? Everything on top of the dashboard you stated yesterday, you don't pay attention to, right? That is correct. When would you ever focus on the top bars ever? More so like big walls, right? If you look at this, 75 is a big wall. So as we approach it, that's something that I watch out for in terms of like maybe a level in which you'll see resistance. That's basically it. When would you ever focus on the top bar, size of the bar, gamma percentage, negative percentage? For me personally, I don't pay too much attention to like when the environments are flipping as of I know a lot of people have been paying closer attention to that because we've seen a couple of them as of recently where it's like, oh, if we open in positive, go to negative, usually it pulls back up. I think a lot or I forget what they say, but personally that's not something I pay attention to. I think when you just you play the PA for what you get. You play the data for what gives, right? Because those are the types of things, like that type of shit, like trying to find a pattern in the data is like playing a bull flag. Like it happens and occasionally it works, but also occasionally you'll get shit on. right? So it goes both ways. Like that's something that I really cannot validate as a concept. Just personally, I don't think they're very reliable, right? Because if you didn't have access to footprint chart, or if we did not have a footprint chart, imagine this, right? Think about you would have seen the data this morning, say and told yourself, oh, it looks exactly like yesterday, right? Where did I send it? You would have seen this and you'd be like, oh, it looks exactly like yesterday. I'm gonna take longs and just hold all day for the rip up, right? That's like playing a bull flag once again, right? Similar to like paying attention to those two like play flipping back and forth. Like if we open in positive and we go negative, right? Some shit like that. Personally, like that's just my take on it. I remember seeing something about a large call wall at 40. Can you explain where you saw that? That was dad saying that. It's basically just a call wall like this. When you see the giant, like the big wall here. Sold positions, once again, that's just how I play. Sold positions are what I pay closest attention to. All right, guys. I'm gonna close it off here in a little bit. Okay, thank you. Definitely makes sense. Have you ever seen bot calls or bot puts from overnight data when you first load up the dashboard, or are you waiting for after? When I refresh it, that's what I base it off of, right? I refresh the page every morning so that the DDOI loads up. Personally, that's my take on it. I don't think it really DDOI, I don't put, I'll be honest, I don't put much weight on it unless it's a sold position. Like that's me, right? And I'm only gonna tell you what I use so that you don't get, right? If you're here to learn from me, that's how I use it. I don't really, dude, anytime it comes to like bot positions, same thing. This is the same thing as for why I don't really care too much about like seeing how do you see bot puts? You see it if it's under the horizontal axis. Anything that's under it is sold. If it's red and it's under, it's sold puts. If it's green and it's under, it's sold calls. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it off here. Been on for 30 minutes. Keep it short, sweet. We'll kill it again tomorrow. Um, hopefully you guys are always learning something here. If you enjoyed the class, I'd appreciate it if you tweeted us, tagged us, TraderLink Apex, and then just say you enjoy the classes, right? We want to try to expand and get more people in here so that they can see how powerful the tool is. And yeah, so if you can, we'll like and retweet it. Starting next week, I believe Geo and Mitchell came up with the idea of doing sort of like um more giveaways. So we're trying to figure out what to give away essentially, and we'll go from there. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your guys' evening. Stay safe, and as always, keep moving forward.